Yep, I tried the slide hammer. Didn't quite work. So I got this BB blaster from behind. That last little bit of a lip has got quite the holding power. So it was on there. You can see the warpedness there. I gave it a good series of whack with that 4-pound hammer or so. 3-pound hammer, who knows, 2-pound hammer. And it finally started to budge. You see its separation there. So I hit it from the top, then from the sides and the other side to try to keep it even as the distance grew out. Now you see I never did take out any of these bolts or nuts, neither did I take the ball joint out. I did take the ABS sensor. I didn't want a whole lot of knocking to be around that sensor, so it was put off to the side. I'll have to wipe this out good for the installation of the new bearing hub assembly. So these fellas, so you take the nut off of here. I used a 32 millimeter Pittsburgh impact set. I used a lathe to scratch down the diameter here so I could get in there far enough to turn the nut. Here's the nut. Now I did not raise up the metal that was squished into that holding slot. I probably should have. Looking at it, it's a nice angled shape there. If you put a screwdriver in there and wedge it up, you probably just get that metal to return itself. Because I didn't buy another one of these. At least I'll hope to bang on it. Maybe I'll put some Loctite or something, but I won't have as much metal to bang into that hole to secure its position. Now I do have to say, so anyways, you get that nut off, and you put your wheel at an angle here. I actually had it the other way initially. And then this thing you can just kind of push forward as far as you can so that it's pushed down into that hole, and it gets this mass out of the way somewhat, enough so that you can get in there and unscrew these. Now I only had available a 14 millimeter long 3/8 socket. It probably would have done better with a short 14 millimeter socket, but I'm happy to say that 3/8 is enough to handle the torque needed to get those loosened. So I put, okay, that 10 millimeter, that's for taking off the ABS sensor. So my get up and go for taking those bolts out was that, followed by a 3/8 inch beater ratchet, and then I put a extension pipe on that a wee ways out so that I could get some more torque, and sure enough all four came loose with that setup. Yeah, I got them all out without any further ado. You can see them down there, the bolts. Of course I got them out, the things came loose. I tried the slide hammer. There's your slide hammer, 5-pounder, and it just didn't seem to budge. I'm not sure, was it because I sprayed the PB blaster? because after I sprayed the PB blaster, I then switched to the technique everybody else was using, to slam a hammer on there. But I must say I am quite impressed with Subaru's choice of wheel, or manufacturer of their original equipment wheel bearing here. This has been hammered on. It's been pulled on by a slide hammer like 100 times as fast as I could pull that weight. I gotta tell you, that bearing is like still functional. I mean, the technique to remove a Toyota Sienna wheel bearing is you use that slide hammer to just yank it out, and after like the first 2 or 3 pulls, your bearing is headed towards the hills. So I mean, this is like industrial strength automotive. You can slam it, you can slam that wheel, and it still spins pretty smooth. Pretty amazing. Alright, I don't know if I added anything to the great body and idle knowledge out there. Okay, there's your caliper tied up out of the way. You got a couple of screws to get it out. I know you can take one out only and rotate it and all that nonsense. I just took them both out. You know, there's a lot of other more explanatory videos about the Subaru, so I'm not even sure what I'm adding to the community here. Other than to say a 5-pound slide hammer, you still have to bang on and use PB blaster. So that holding was all done. Well, maybe a 1/2 inch lip there going into the other piece of metal, and it was on there good. Of course, it's held permanently by those 4 bolts. Oh well, I'll clean it up and put the new one on. Thanks for watching, guys. Better luck.